Hey, what it do? What the business is?
It is another week in the books with the On Deck TV podcast. I am Spike Lou.
Man, holla at your boy Animal Brown, Animal_Brown, if you're looking for me on Instagram and Twitter.
Absolutely, man. I am Spike Lou on the same social sites. Holla at your boy. How you feeling out there?
Man, I'm feeling good, feeling great. I might get a TikTok for real after this video you put in the group chat today. That was a
TikTok got some
classic.
funny shit on there, man.
Hey,
Are you playing those type of games at the crib?
absolutely not.
I value my peace too much. Like even if you can get away with it, I still value my peace too much.
Man, if y'all haven't seen the video, I retweeted it on my Twitter, Animal_Brown, of the dude playing a prank on his wife. The black dude playing a prank on his black wife, telling her how shit was gonna be in the house. But then at the end, he was like, "Yeah, that's what Brian was saying to his girl. Ain't that crazy?" And she was gonna cut him.
Ain't no more of that bonnet shit. Ain't no more nigga. When you greet me. Present yourself. She was like, nigga, what? I couldn't tell if that shit was fake or not. I thought that had to be like acting. Because I thought when no nigga like retarded enough to try that shit. Like,
that shit was
no nigga trying that.
Please scroll through my timeline. I might retweet it again because it's that fucking funny. Shout out to TikTok. I might have to hop on there for real.
You want to be on TikTok beforehand anyway, though. You definitely want to be on TikTok before that. 100%. It's getting fall. It's here, man. It's hoodie season. You done broke out your fall clothes yet?
Sweater weather, goddamn it. Let's get it.
Back, man, it's supposed to be like 42 this weekend.
Stop. No, it's not.
I promise you.
It's
supposed to be like 42 this weekend. I don't know. It's been rough out here, man.
I'll be in the house, man. Don't even worry about it. Listen.
No movies, no new shit?
Nah, man. It's quiet. I watched Passenger 57 for the first time.
For the first time?
Yeah.
It ain't a bad movie, though. Wesley Snipes was in his bag. He was in his bag during that little time. Was it 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Passenger 57? He was in his little bag, right? Money Train, all of that.
Tough.
Absolutely. What we got this week, man?
Hey, we got an action-packed episode, man. So a lot of shit went down this week. Rolling Stone lists the greatest hip-hop album of all time. Jeezy's got a brand new gig. And fresh off of the Tory Lanez surprise album, we go over some notable marketing approaches to some of our favorite retail releases in the past years. It's going to be very dope. But first, speaking of Tory Lanez, man, he broke his silence late Thursday night with an announcement that he will be telling his side of the story involving he and Megan Thee Stallion. His story turned out to be an album that served as a response to the allegations against him. The album Daystar was received with positive reviews on social media and hit #1 on Apple Music charts. Now, we're going to get to some of the meat of what he was saying and his rollout and all of that good stuff a little bit later on. But I want to know, are you surprised at the response that the album has gotten?
You know what? When you say surprised as far as people saying that it's good, no, Tory's a good artist. Tory, he's going to put out good music. He's shown that all through the quarantine. I'm surprised that the people that were mad at him were mad that he put out music explaining the situation. One thing that I always say here when we talk is that artists should resort to the platform that they're most comfortable with when they get in a situation and need to explain themselves. You're not good doing interviews, and why would I go do an interview about something instead of going to the booth? And I think that he made a decision that benefited him in doing this. I just don't think that he didn't read the room, is a popular saying nowadays. Like, he could have sit on this a little bit longer. Like, Tory Lanez wasn't getting no less popular by not saying anything than he would have as he has came out. Like, people are like, oh, you piece of shit, you're taking advantage of this situation. So he's taken even more of a popularity hit. Even with the #1 album, you're sacrificing a little bit of who you are, your integrity. I mean, if that matters to him, I'm not sure if it does, because at the end of the day, people had a bad taste in their mouth just because of the time, and not necessarily that he chose to address it, but you're putting it out. You should have let it breathe a little bit. Like, people wasn't really ready to hear from you, hear your side of the story. So I would say he did a self-serving thing in putting it out and getting people to talk about it. And he went #1. So
yeah, I'm not surprised at the response either. I am surprised at how he decided to address the allegations, though. That I was surprised at. We'll probably talk about that in a few. We've seen time and time again good music trumps controversy. It's been like that since the beginning of time. And by all accounts that I've seen online, it sounds good sonically. So like your message is much more palatable with a fire ass beat laid up underneath it and a catchy hook. Like, let's be honest. It's kind of like the same way if you do an online apology and you sound remorseful, you slick, got the watery eyes, like you're selling it. That's what he did with this. He sold the message. You know what I'm saying? I listened to a little bit. I listened to maybe like 5 or 6 songs on that, and I got out of there. He's telling his side of the story. I think people were upset because the way he set it up was he made people think that it was about to be some type of interview or some type of live or something like that. And it wasn't that. It was a product to sell.
It's here, stream my new album.
Yeah, it made it seem as like a money grab, which hurts his credibility in what he's saying, in my opinion. But the response has been very interesting. It's more split than it was 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like, people are now Team Tory. Hashtag Team Tory is a thing.
Did you listen to what he said happened, his series of events?
Yeah. He didn't go into no really details, but he questions. He's basically saying that he didn't shoot her.
Over a span of one song, or is it a couple of songs?
No,
like,
it's across the whole. From what I heard, about 6, 7 albums, it's touched on in almost all of the songs. He's saying that he was really into her and that they were really kind of, he was slick, like falling for her, and there was like a little relationship going on for real, for real. So he feels some type of way that she's doing this. He's slick hurt behind it, blah, blah, blah. Like, if you was in a real relationship and somebody shot your bitch, though, like, you was slick, be hot about that. Whoever shot your
like, but this right here, it goes to the type of person that Tory Lanez. Like, he's always struck me as this type of person. Like, he's trying to play the victim here. Like, Meg got a whole bullet wound in her foot or a fragment or whatever it is, and this nigga like, well, yeah, but like, I'm hurt because you came out and told people this. Like, nigga, what are you talking about? It strikes me as very tone deaf, and I haven't listened to it. I'm not a big Tory Lanez fan anyway. I feel like that he's ventured so far out of his lane with I'm now dropping the tape to explain what happened with me and Meg. Like, stay in the chicks tape bag, dude. Like, just stay right there in the chicks tape bag, and you were going to eat. Like, when nobody in that lane, you remixing the R&B songs, like, just stay right there and eat. But it's something with niggas like Tory Lanez. I don't know if it's height or what, but they get, like, they just start feeling themselves in the wrong ways. And now you in this situation where nobody, well, like you said, it's more split than it was a couple of weeks ago, but it's more divisive too. Like, it wasn't like people were really like, I don't really give a fuck one way or the other. Now it's like, oh, fuck him. Like, or I fuck with him. So now it's way more divisive than it was.
Here's the thing, though. In fact, we get into it. When we said this, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about how he should address it, or if he should address it. I said he needs to come out and make a statement or say something, because there's these are facts. There's 2 sides to every story. That's in every situation, not just this one. That's just how life is. There's always people's sides to it. And T.I. has said that he talked to Tory, and Tory was feeling some type of way that people kind of done jumped off of his bandwagon. And T.I. was like, bro, now you need to say something. And he was like, I can't. And he was like, okay, you can't. That's fine. But just know that if you have nothing to debate or, counteract these facts that are being laid out, my nigga, then people are going to look at you like, what are you doing, my nigga? You're going to look guilty, my nigga, like, period. You just are. So if you can't say nothing, but you can, that's what's weird. On the album, he says, he contradicts himself. He says, I didn't shoot you. Or no, he says, you didn't get shot. You know what I'm saying? I didn't shoot you. But then on another song, he says, how do you know who shot you if you had your back turned? So it's like, did she get shot or did she not get shot, my nigga? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I get you trying to rhyme and fit it in bars and shit, but like, you're contradicting yourself, my nigga.
First of all, I'm not listening to nothing T.I. say if I'm Tory Lanez to do with this. Like, I don't want, y'all know T.I. my mans. If you listen to this podcast, you know I fuck with Tip heavy. But I'm not taking advice from T.I. Like, you got to say something, bro. Like, thank you, but no. No thanks. I
But that's true
appreciate you,
though.
King.
I said that myself. I said, man, he has to say something,
I
bro.
don't feel like that's true in the sense of if this is what you're going to say, like this don't make you look any better. Like
No, this ain't the
the
way.
fact still remains that Meg got shot and you had something to do with it. Like Tory Lanez
Allegedly.
has made enough money during the quarantine. Well, I can chill. Like y'all may want me to say something until I feel like people are going to give me the proper like resolution for this and they're gonna like think about this fairly. I ain't gotta say shit. I'm gonna go vacation on an island with bitches and do the Tory quarantine Instagram live shit. Like I ain't gotta address nothing until it's time for me to sell another album. I guess since he's now trying to sell another album that he had to address a little bit quicker than I would have. But man, he could have sit on this for a year. People
That's
would have been
what
waiting to hear what he had to say if he came back a year from now.
that's what makes it. That's what muddies his message though. Because I've
What's
seen
that?
a lot of people online like, what if he's telling the truth? What if it? That's fair. What the problem is the way you came about it. You made it sound like it was going to be on some interview shit, and you're really just trying to get people to sell your record. I mean, you're trying to get people to stream your record, which I understand. It's been quiet. That quarantine radio MTV deal, I'm sure, is in the
Over.
can. Yeah, I'm sure that's done.
Over.
I'm sure your phone has been quiet for endorsements and features. You're not doing no shows because we're in a quarantine. So I understand the need to get some revenue coming in. I
Tory Lanez
understand
been
that.
eating, man. You can't
But
make me
if
believe Tory Lanez needed no money though.
now this it's rap niggas living check to check, my nigga. Like
Not Tory
rap niggas ain't no
Lanez.
different from regular people.
That's a fact, but not Tory Lanez. You can't make me believe that Tory Lanez is one of these niggas living check to check with all that money that he should have been making out here. Like Tory Lanez is a what did you consider him, a B lister, a C lister?
He was the C list, man. He was probably in a 360
Yeah.
deal, bro. Like we not finna act like he had a Master P deal. Like let's be clear.
Nah, I'm not saying that, but
He not 80-20 out here, bro.
most of his stuff that Chicks Tape shit was independent though. When you talking about a Master P deal, like he didn't
Was
sign
it?
a major. Yeah, that shit was like mixtape shit. He well actually he probably didn't make no money off of it because all that remake shit and he had to
Samples.
pay out of
Exactly.
pocket so much for it. So I mean, if he paying that much money for that Chicks Tape, the man had a bag. I feel like you got enough time. I guess what my whole position is, you have enough time to let the shit blow over, and you think that he had to talk right now.
It's been weeks now. He's not a lot of shit go. Megan
He
done
ain't
went on
making no money.
live.
Let her live, man. Let her go
Put a
on
beat
live
and
and let
shit
her
it
like
on
do
him.
a hot girl summer part 2 and twerk. Like he got the thing with this rubbing people the wrong way is not that he's explaining himself, is that he's like mansplaining himself. Like you trying to overtalk her. Like you trying to, yeah, but it happened this way though. Like, yeah, all that's cool, but this how it happened. Like my nigga, cool, we don't care though. Like if you other than him coming out and being like, I was wrong, she was right, and that's it, and apologizing for it, like you're not gonna win no battles.
People listen. He won some people over. That the people that were already probably on the fence. He dug a deeper hole for the people who were already Team Megan. So I just need E True Hollywood Story. I need E to go ahead and put this together and get together with the 4 people who really know what happened, who were in the car, and like let's just do a reenactment and get to the bottom of this shit. Because here's what loses me before, and then we'll move on. If he's able, because he's saying some stuff on here like I didn't do it and da 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 da. Bro, why wouldn't you have said this weeks ago, bro? Like if I am getting railroaded for some shit I did not do, nigga, I'm at least putting out a tweet, nigga, that says I didn't do it. I'm talking about minimum, nigga. Like it wasn't me. I'll
Is
explain
anybody
later.
gonna believe that though?
Who cares? You still have to say something. You have to stand up for yourself if that's truly your motive to clear your name. If your motive is to sell records, then you do this shit right here. That's what makes it look funny in the light. That's the only problem with it, in
That he
my
trying to
opinion.
use this to sell records.
That's what it sounds like. And that's not a good look. It make it look like you ain't got no integrity, so that you would do some goofy shit like shoot your gal. Like that's what it makes it look. That's the perception, dude.
And I think that is spot on right there. Like none of this, the release of it, the response to it, shooting your chick, none of this is far of a characterization of what I would see Tory Lanez as. Like I ain't not one time be like, man, I can't see Tory Lanez doing. I ain't never said that.
I do wish people would be more receptive to the full story though. I'm never been, and people have been listening to this for 360 some episodes. I'm never been to jump out of the window off the first story, off the first side person. I don't care whose side it came from first. I don't give a fuck if it came from Tory first, her for anybody. I'm not. We need the full picture, or at least as much of the picture as possible. And getting it from one side is a start, but it can't end there. Again, no matter whose side it is that's explaining it, you need the full picture, bro.
I think it's different when it's domestic violence, though.
Yeah, but we've seen too many times where that initial story is fake. I just watched Brian Banks the other day. Nigga, if niggas ran with that first story and he got 6 years for nothing.
That's
So
true.
I mean, it's just, but that you just can't. You have to get the. We've been living life too. If you're an adult, you understand that there's more than one side of the story. You have to understand that, unless you've literally been living in the basement your entire life. If you know how life works, if you jumped off the porch, you know there's more than one side to every story. It just is. It's just the facts, dude. What's next?
That's fair. That's fair. Speaking of facts, Rolling Stone presented this list as fact of the 100 top hip hop albums. What they did was they list Lauryn Hill's Miseducation of Lauryn Hill as the best hip hop album ever. Did they get it right?
No, but shout out to Lauryn Hill. What they did was they have the famous top 500 albums of all time list that they did several years ago, and then they revamped it a couple of years ago, and now they're revamping it again. And the highest hip hop album on the list was Lauryn Hill. It came in at number 10. The closest one next to that, I think, was My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy at 17. I'm not the biggest Lauryn Hill fan. I am the biggest Kanye fan. So if you ask me, swap those two out, even though the impact of the Lauryn Hill album was obviously monumental. And it was a fire album and is heralded as a classic by everybody. So I get it. But give me that more, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, if I'm going by what's on this list.
I think that was a good pick. I think that when you mention the impact of the album with the sing-songy, rappy type thing, and having an album that ventures into rap, gives you dope ass bars, and also gives you singing that ain't just like the melodic ABC. It's deeper than what you would normally hear from a rap album, and I think that transition to what we have now with Drake and Uzi and most of the major hip hop acts have that melodic feature to them. And with that being said, if you're going to reference an album that started that, an album that was most successful at that, this is probably the album that you will go to. And again, if this is the correct pick for this publication, Rolling Stone. If it were the Source picking the number one album, if it were us picking the number one album, if it were another hip hop medium that came out and said, hey, here's our list, and the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was number one, I would then have a problem with it. Being Rolling Stone probably has people that aren't as deep into the culture as us or haven't been as affected much by the culture as we have. So I could take them looking at the scape of hip hop now and saying, hey, where did all of this start? Because it's the biggest genre in the world now. What got it to this point? And you referencing back to a place of the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. So I could definitely see where this pick would come in as the highest rated hip hop album if you're doing a forever albums list. Good pick.
I get it. Half rapping, half singing. It was a game changer in '98. Trust me, I get it. Matter of fact, she's been eating off that album ever since. That's her only album. And she's still relevant, and people still flock to her shows.
Joint. She got the unplugged joint. The unplugged joint.
Yeah, that don't really count, though. I don't really count. The Fugees album, that don't count. Like, her only for real deal solo joint, that shit is crazy. So to eat off of that for this many years is an accomplishment in itself. Other notable entries, To Pimp a Butterfly was number 19 for some strange reason.
Rightfully so.
Chronic was 37. And again, this isn't hip hop. This is all genres of music, by the way. Top 500. Aquemini was number 49.
Aquemini top 50 is big.
That's big.
That's big.
Shout out to
all
Aquemini.
the albums ever. Were there any off-genre albums that you enjoyed that were high up? Like, what was your favorite, like, not hip-hop album on the list?
Number one.
What was it?
Marvin Gaye's
Nirvana.
What's Going On.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that's a dope ass
exactly.
album right there. You go back
I
and listen
know.
to that.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
true.
Thriller was top 10. Stevie Wonder was top 10. Prince was top 10. So I mean, there's some shit on here. Don't get it twisted now. Blueprint was number 50.
Hmm.
Like that's respectable. Shout out to that Equiminato Patreon. Shout out to our Patreon subscribers. We just dropped that this week. The Equimini review. It was the anniversary of that album, so y'all check that out. But yeah, it was a solid list by Rolling Stone.
Most definitely had fun doing that Equipment review too. I think you guys will like that. Yeah, and I ain't mad at the Rolling Stone pick. Like I said, if it was someone else picking that like XXL, I would then question it. But now with Rolling Stone doing it, yeah, 100%.
That makes sense, man. Moving on, let's talk your boy Lil Yachty. He took to Twitter to make a bold proclamation. He said, quote, Travis Scott is the lone winner of 2020. He followed up by saying, and this doesn't have anything necessarily to do with music. So my question is simple. Is Lil Boat right? Is Travis Scott had the best 2020? And if not, then who has?
Travis Scott has had a fantastic 2020. He's probably had the best 2020. I don't think that he's the lone winner in 2020 though. I think that Lil Yachty's label made Lil Baby has made a splash during this quarantine. The city, well, excuse me, Lil Baby, yeah, I would say that he's had a really good quarantine. But Travis Scott, too, Lil Yachty's point with the McDonald's and the merch, and he got the PS5 before all you niggas were waiting on the PS5. Like, Travis Scott is that nigga right now. Please don't get it twisted. Like, I don't want to knock what Lil Yachty's saying, but he's not the sole winner. I think that there are other people that have stuff to say, but Travis Scott has definitely got his stake in the motherfucking mud.
Yeah. His 2020 has been low-key nuts. The McDonald's endorsement is crazy. Again, he's the second celebrity ever to have a meal. His Fortnite concert, when the shit all popped off, was crazy. He had the lead single in the Tenet movie soundtrack. He just shot a video for his new single at Jordan's house, which is nuts. That is
Jordan don't even
fucking
fuck
nuts.
with you rap niggas, man.
That's what
Jordan don't even fuck with rappers.
What's the bigger flex though? Drake video at the Nike headquarters or Travis Scott video at Jordan house?
At Jordan
Really?
house?
Yeah.
Fam, they didn't even shoot. You know that they didn't even shoot that last dance at Jordan house. They rented a spot.
They did?
No, they didn't. They read it. I read it. Well, either I was listening to Bomani podcast, but they had to rent a spot because something was going on at Jordan crib. But that where he's sitting right there where he was reading the iPad, that ain't even his spot.
Oh shit!
So this is
he wouldn't even let ESPN in.
Man, come on, man. How did Travis Scott get so popular? What did it for him? Do you think? Was it Astro World? Was it the Jenners? What was it?
Nah, it was a combination of things. That his Netflix documentary explains a lot though. He's mainstream, but he's got a very dedicated fan base of people that relate to him. He does a lot of things for his fans, brings them on stage. He talks to them. He acts like a regular person with his fans, kind of similar to like Uzi. You ever seen Uzi when he pulls up to the gas station and hops in niggas' music videos and shit? Like just doing little shit like that, keeping yourself grounded. Like niggas like, but doing you at the same time. Having a billionaire girlfriend doesn't hurt. Having a Nike Jordan deal doesn't hurt.
He's arguably the best rapper of the next generation, right? Like he's the lead artist or act.
He's the biggest under 30.
He has to be, from a lyrical standpoint, the least lyrical biggest artist ever. Would you say that? Maybe Nelly.
That's close. Are you counting Future? Something like
Future
that.
Future used to rip it though.
Relax.
Future didn't used to rip it. Astro World. Come on.
Relax. What is Astro?
I mean, excuse me, not Astro World. Damn, what am I thinking about? Him with he on the planet. What's the one where he on the planet? He was ripping it. You know the one. I'm talking
the mixtape.
Yeah.
That mixtape was hard. He was cool. He was okay. He was doing a little something.
He was okay. And the one with Tony Montana on that, Future used to rip it. I don't know. Like he recently found out that you didn't have to rap to make a lot of money.
Travis Scott the same way though, because Travis Scott used to rap like that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Travis Scott has a very similar path like Future because he used to be saying something too until he figured out it's more about the vibe than the actual bars. And he switched it up.
Future dumbed it all the way down. Nigga, you can't dumb it down no more than Future did.
That's a fact. But yeah, now he's not the lone winner, but hey boy, that MVP race, he running away with it. He keep this shit up. He got one more collab this year, and it's a wrap. He got it sold up.
Now I think he got it already. Moving on, your man Jay Jenkins. Who? Hey, Snowman Jeezy, aka Young, is coming out with a brand new talk show on Fox Soul. This talk show is going to be a reinventing of the Snowman. As you know, he's growing up. He's going by Jeezy Jenkins on this show. My question to you is: this going to be a good look for Snowman?
Listen, if you would have told me Jeezy had a new business venture, and you'd have asked me to guess what it was, it would have took me 3 hours to get the talk show host. We would have been here all night. It's called Worth a Conversation with Jeezy Jenkins, which is so nasty. That's nasty. Let me read the description. Jeezy will welcome guests to discuss topics important to the Black community at the intersection of social climate, politics, entertainment, sports, and more. Shout out to Jeezy. Congrats on the new show, his engagement, and all that. But I'm not here for a Jeezy talk show. I hope I'm wrong, but this smells like mid a mile away. I'm not signing up for Jeezy to talk politics and social climate. You would have to point me to the interview where Jeezy has talked about politics or social climate in a way in which it deserved a talk show. Like, I've never seen it, bro. I just have, and I've watched several Jeezy interviews. His manager is a savage for getting him this job. He might be the MVP of 2020, whoever the fuck. His
manager, his agent, his agent probably.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie. I thought you added this because you were going to be in support of it. Because I know you knew coming into this, no absolute way that I was going to think that this was a good idea. I just don't understand. Like, I ain't against Jeezy having a platform to talk on. That's fine.
For sure.
There is nothing that I've ever seen in Jeezy's whole career that would make me think a TV show on Fox Soul starring Jeezy J. Jenkins, like, that's stupid. Like, fam, go do, like, I would much rather Jeezy, like, do the podcast with T.I. Like, you and T.I. would make a great podcast. Y'all niggas could do your whole social thing. I think that Jeezy is mistaken being a good conversationalist with being able to be a good, like, act or performer. Like, it ain't a lot of niggas that can do what Joe Budden do or even do what T.I. do. And
T.I. still learning.
Yeah, still learning, but he's good at it. You could see where someone would say, hey, T.I., do this podcast, do this talk show. But like, Jeezy has never been interesting enough for me to be like, hey, dog, I'm going to sit down and watch this Jeezy J. Jenkins. Like, I don't want to see that. Like, and I'm one of the biggest Jeezy fans that there is. And I'm all here, like I said, for him to have a platform, just not on Fox Soul. And I ain't even shitting on Fox Soul, but like, I don't want to see the corporate Jeezy. I'm not here for that at all. I don't think that ties into the brand. And even if you're doing a rebranding, I don't think that this is the Jeezy that you want to present. Like, it's just watered down. It's like, oh, you're Jeezy. I want people to see you in this light. Like, his manager did negotiate a hell of a deal for them to be able to get this signed off on. But I'm just not here for it. And I don't know who would be. Like, I think people
don't do that.
Jeezy. I think people that are Jeezy fans, they're like, I don't want to see this.
No, they're here for this.
Like, maybe the new fan base that he's gotten since he got his new wife, and they're like, oh, I know him from her.
Exactly.
It ain't his fan base, though. I don't think that those people are going to support him. They just going to want to see it crash and burn.
To be fair, he may have been getting some pointers from the fiance because she's been doing this for several years.
She put this together. It's her play.
She linked them up for sure.
Definitely her play. Facts.
That's a fact. Hey, now listen, in that instance,
it don't fit Jeezy though.
But in that instance, you got your gal plugging you in, getting you some business plays, getting you some checks. I gotta respect it. That's
you
first
can
and
try
foremost.
it, like, but just
it's got one season.
I guess if someone comes to this to me pre-packaged and I'm Jeezy and they're like, look, Fox Soul gonna do the show, you ain't gonna turn it down, I don't guess. But for the long run, it ain't good for your brand. Like,
Jeezy can low-key act though. He can act a little bit.
I don't believe that.
He was in Janky Promoters. You remember him in Janky Promoters?
Yeah, he was bad though. Like, see,
that movie slick funny too. Though.
Like, okay, to take for instance, Nori. Like, you would have never thought that Nori would have had a successful talk show.
He's not good at that shit though.
but the way that he presents it, it's very good as far as people that don't like. I know a lot of people that fuck with the Drink Champs don't even listen to Nori. Nori's a good personality. Jeezy don't have the personality for this.
That's true.
T.I. have a personality. Joe Budden's
True.
got a personality. Like
True.
these niggas, like I just don't know what Jeezy's personality is,
We
especially
don't.
to go from Jeezy to Jay Jenkins. Like
Yep.
if he gradually got into it, like if he started with the T.I. Joe Budden type podcast, and then he was like, okay, he got good at it, and then we got the Jay Jenkins, the Jay Jenkins Talk Soul. Okay, but nah, not right off the bat.
Bro.
Like you're not going from the trap to the tux right off the bat on me, bro. Like, come on.
Listen, my guy Freddie Gibbs said this.
Nah,
He saw snow on Snapchat,
the
or
streets was done.
he saw snow. He knew the streets was done.
It's
The
on
streets
TikTok.
are officially done with Jeezy sitting at a coffee table with a mug across from Biden. The streets are completely over with.
See, that's the thing. That is the thing, though. Like that version of the streets is absolutely dead. Like Jeezy's version of the streets and where he came from and what he knows, that's done. That's cooked. But it ain't repackaged into this. Like you're supposed to take that to somewhere to like
real estate.
Anything but a talk show with this. But not, I mean, even if you want to say like, in all seriousness, there's a bigger platform than what Nori or Joe Budden or what T.I. is doing. He may want to explore that. It ain't this though. And it ain't this for Jeezy. Like I ain't not like, again, I'm gonna keep saying, like, I don't mind him having a platform. It's just changing your name to Jay Jenkins and running with the Fox Soul platform for me. That's what's not doing it.
It's giving me. I watched real quick before we get to this topic. I watched Jeezy on Gary V's platform one time, and you know Gary V have the sit down interview, and it'll be kind of fly on the wall, and they used to be pretty dope videos. And Jeezy came off to me as someone who was so desperately trying to transition out of music that he would almost jump at anything, and that's what this is giving me. And like you said, it's almost as if he just couldn't turn it down because it's something other than rap. And I hope I swear to you, I hope this is successful and everything. And I'm going to watch it to give it a chance so I can have a fair assessment of it. But I don't see it being good. I have my doubts. I hope I'm wrong.
And yeah, I think my biggest fear is they're going to want Jeezy to be something that he's not.
They're going to want him to be Jay Jenkins.
I don't think that Jeezy's experienced enough to sell Jay Jenkins yet. Like, I just don't. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that it's good. I hope that I'm pleasantly surprised by the show, but I don't think it's gonna.
We're gonna find out October 14th when it premieres. It'll be weekly, so y'all check out
DJ
Birthday
Khaled,
Conversation.
Jeezy, everybody getting to talk. Do you think people think this shit, that talk shows are easy? Like the DJ Khaled getting one, the Jeezys. You think that people think that if I see Joe Budden do it, if I see these random niggas that no one knows and they got 10,000 followers, I know I can do this because I rap. Do you think that they think that?
Yeah, of course. And there's no way to know until you try it. So hey, we're going to find out.
That period of time when everybody was a rapper.
Yeah, and everybody had. I said this when we first started the podcast. I wish I could pull the clip. I said the podcast would be the new mixtape, and the media personality is the new rapper. So it just people make it look easy. Joe Budden makes it look easy. He's good at it. He's a natural. So it naturally it makes somebody else that think they can do it, and maybe they can. Like niggas, I'm not saying like that's above everybody. That's why I said I hope he does well. Maybe I'll be surprised. I just don't foresee it.
That's fair.
Personally,
that is fair.
Man, let's get to this topic, man. Very interesting one. We are talking notable rollouts. This Tory Lanez Daystar album got us thinking. This was a very left field, very interesting promo marketing that he's doing for this particular album, basically selling it around a controversy. So we thought that it would be dope to kind of go through history and look at some notable marketing and rap releases, man. It'd be kind of cool. So before we get to these other ones, let's do a quick recap, man. Tory Lanez Daystar is, of course, that's his government first name for anybody that didn't know.
His government name is Daystar?
Yeah, that's wild.
No way.
Um,
What kind of shit
fuck,
is that?
man, bro, I have no fucking clue. Daystar. Have you ever seen a star in the day? It's kind of like, hey, it's some
Oh my
mythical shit.
god, man. What kind of shit is that?
I don't know, but here's the thing, though. He named it that. So the timing of it was controversial, coming off the Breonna Taylor verdict. Like you said, read the room. His response to that was that's his mom's birthday, the day that it came out on, and that's also her death day, ironically, which is super ironic. But and he's also donating proceeds to the Breonna Taylor Foundation or fund. So I
Why
think
not
that
lead
that
with
was
that then?
that was more reactionary though. I mean, because
Yeah,
he
like
seemed
why
to,
not lead with that if
he wasn't thinking
like
it.
come
That's
on,
why
man.
he read the room after he walked in and yelled at the top of his lungs. Real quick though, what did you think about Ross going back and forth with him? Because he hopped on. For those who don't know, he hopped on IG Live, threw a couple of jokes his way because he dropped the album in such quote
He
unquote poor
meaning Rick
taste.
Ross. You saying Rick Ross started this with Tory Lanez?
Yeah, he
Right.
was reacting to the fact that he dropped this album as like a response album in the middle of this controversy. He was reacting to that, basically saying that that was not a smart move, and
Um,
throwing jokes at the same time.
Rick Ross should have took. I know his mama told him this. My mama told me this. Your mama probably done told this shit. You probably couldn't wait to tell people this when like that was kids' business. Like, you know, your mama told you to stay out of grown folk business. If I'm Rick Ross, I'm a grown person, man. I get a kid to address Tory Lanez and that whole, like, I may feel a certain way. And as an OG, when I see Tory Lanez, I may pull him to the side and tell him how I felt about it. But that what he did was kid business.
Mm,
And it was funny and it was
yeah,
entertaining, but I'm not sure what Rick Ross was going for in doing that.
being funny and entertaining. That's
Yeah,
probably
but
what
you
he's going. He's
passed
to get
that
the
in your
jokes
career. You the
off.
boss, man. Like, you ain't got time for that shit, man. Like, I ain't got time to play with no nigga like Tory Lanez
Man, we're in the
on
quarantine.
Instagram.
He got all the time in the world.
I got horses to raise and shit. Like, all that shit y'all say this nigga do with this a big ass house out there. Like, I got plenty. I got land to tend to, nigga. Got to mow the grass, nigga. I got a lot of shit to do, man. I ain't got time to play with Tory Lanez, nigga. Get that shit out of here. But I mean, I just don't. I never put Rick Ross. Rick Ross, he does it so effortlessly to seek it. That kind of turned me off. Like, it was funny, like I said, and somebody should be addressing Tory Lanez in
They
the
are. They
way that
have
Rick
been.
Ross is. Like, people have been. You're right, but I just don't think that it ain't Rick Ross's place to do it. I call a little homie. Like, the most I would do is like have a nigga on IG with me calling like the little homies on MMG and be like, man, y'all get him out of here, man. And then I don't have anything else to do with it. Like, you can't even respond to me, my nigga, because I got the little homies talking to you right now.
Hey,
But I'm not gonna go back and forth with Tory Lanez. Nah.
if anybody knows what good music can do for a controversy, it's Rick Ross. Let's be very clear, because he was able to weasel his way out of a controversy by dropping heat. So he knows what's going on. If we're
Yeah, he know
keeping
what
it a
he doing.
stack.
He know what he doing, but I'm not gonna be the nigga calling him out if I'm Rick Ross. If it's a nigga in my league, then yes. But I'm not gonna play no games with Tory Lanez. He might got a bomb or something. Like, this nigga Tory Lanez can rap. Like, he might got some ether or something for Rick Ross. Now you'd have got yourself in some shit for no reason, dude. Like, let's say this nigga ain't got, like you said, he in a quarantine, he ain't got shit to do. Everybody going in on this nigga may come out with the best diss song ever with some cold ass singing and shit again. Man, if I'm Rick Ross, I ain't got time to play with that nigga like that, man. I don't even want to chance it, nigga.
Oh
And
shit.
Rick Ross made great music, but Tory Lanez is too young, man. You know, that's what happened when old niggas you pick that last wrong fight with the wrong young nigga, and boom, that's how it happened to you.
That's what
Not even
that's
chancing it if I'm Rick Ross.
that's what Eminem did with Machine
Yeah,
Gun
look,
Kelly.
MJ,
Machine Gun Kelly
exactly. Like, there's
rapped the
no
bars
way
of
there
his
should be a
life.
match. Exactly. No way there should have been a match. But this little young nigga got all night, all his homeboys in there gassing him. Like, nah, nigga, I'm not gonna play with y'all young boys. Nigga,
Man,
Tory Lanez probably writing this song right now about Ross. The 185th take, nigga. Third engineer in there. He done brought in 4 producers. Rick Ross ain't got time to play like that no more, man. I ain't finna, like, nah.
if you were on Tory's team and he said, "Bro, I'm thinking about dropping this album on my mom's birth/death day, and I'm gonna answer all the critics. It's gonna be a full 16, 17 track project. I'm gonna let people know my side of the story in the album. Should I put it out?
No. Go
Why
on
not?
vacation, Tory.
I need to
Relax.
clear my name. They're killing me right now.
That's cool. Record the album and everything. And after you record it, take 2 weeks off. We'll revisit the situation. But I don't like, you're not dropping an hour track and you're not naming it after your birth name on your mom's birth and death day, all behind, like when Breonna Taylor verdict came out, Meg still healing. She still got bandage on her foot. Nah, my nigga, like go to Barbados, go to Cairns or whatever it is you rich people go to and chill for like 2 weeks. Just take 2 weeks off. Cut the internet and shit off. And just then when you come back, if you still feel the same way, then we can revisit releasing this, half of it. We still ain't even putting this whole hour out. Let's just test the water, my nigga. Do we got to put the whole hour out? Like it would have took everything for him. Like as an artist, he would have had to bring it all to the meeting for me on the business side of it, for me to be like, okay, let's drop it.
Oh shit.
Nigga, like you got to give me a presentation, my nigga.
That's funny.
Like the whole hour? Absolutely not. What are you telling him?
Yeah, nah, I told you. I'm telling him, man, if he can, apparently there's still an open case, which I don't understand. I don't understand this aspect of it.
Another reason I ain't, yep.
But what's the open case? Look. If you're able to say what you're able to say in this album, why can't you say that in front of a camera on IG? On your own terms, your own platform. Why can't you say the exact same thing on there? Why do you have to put a beat behind it and hope motherfuckers stream it, bro? Like, that's what's throwing me off. So I would say clear your name this way on some real legitimate, this is just me talking to you. This is my side of the story from what I can tell you. I'm not going to sit here and give you the play-by-play. I'm not the police like that. Okay, cool. I get it. I feel you. I'm not going to sit here and lay out shit to motherfuckers I don't know either. But you can do what you can do to clear your name. I did not shoot Megan Thee Stallion. That's it. How hard is that, bro?
Because then the police probably are going to respond. They're going to say, well, who did? You were there,
They're
right?
already asking them that.
Yeah, but he ain't got to respond. He ain't in the same room. I think when you release a statement, and then I'm not a lawyer, I have no idea, but I feel like once he starts to say, well, I didn't do it, well, who did do it, or well, where were you, and all of this stuff that he probably can't answer without incriminating himself or somebody that he don't want to incriminate. But again, that's another reason why you let all of this shit blow over. Like releasing an album, doubling down is what makes you look bad here. Like it ain't even on top of what you did. Like, unfortunately, the way we treat as a whole Black women in this country, he was able to not be in a much worse situation. And I'm not praising.
Oh yeah, you don't got that much leeway.
Yeah,
you ain't got that much rope.
You don't have that much rope to double down and be like, well, actually, this is what happened, and she ought to be apologizing to me. Like, nigga, are you serious?
Yeah,
get the fuck out of here.
You got to approach it just a little bit. You got to tread just a little bit lightly. You got to know the culture and know the history and know the room. That's why it's so important to come at it the right way. You got one time to make a first impression. Yeah, that's why I say you come out and make a statement.
That's why you wait.
Yeah,
you wait till people damn near don't care about it no more.
Fair enough.
Speaking of those rollouts, we did say that, Tory Lanez had us thinking about other famous rollouts, notable rollouts, notary rollouts. And what was probably the first one that popped to your head as far as marketing campaigns for albums?
Man, I immediately went back to 2007. Kanye, 50 Cent, two of the biggest rappers at the time, both had the same release date, which in hip hop is a no-no. For two titans, two A-listers to drop on the same day, that's like it's almost like you sending shots at the next person, like you're doing it purposely. But, and especially when it comes to 50 Cent and Kanye, they're like the complete opposite of a rapper. They flipped it into a whole marketing campaign and doubled down on the fact that they were dropping the same day and said, let's go head to head. Let's see who sells the most. 50 is coming off 10 million sold on his first album. Allegedly 10 million worldwide sold on that Massacre. So he's already a super duper star. Kanye is also a super duper star. He's not selling diamond, but he's a star. So I thought the fact that 50 was like, yo, this is probably his idea. Yo, let's come together, let's drop on the same day, and let's do this whole 106 and Park campaign of me versus you. They did the cover of Rolling Stone with it. I thought that was super dope. Uh, 50 even went as far to say, if I lose, I'm retiring just to up the ante. Kanye didn't agree to that shit, obviously, because that would have been stupid. But the numbers came out, and Curtis, the name of this album, did 691,000 first week. Super impressive. Graduation did 957,000 first week.
Jesus Christ.
50 had the unfortunate luck to challenge Kanye on one of the firest albums in the last 20 years, because that Graduation is incredible and that Curtis is just some look cool. So that's unfortunate on his part. But hey, he did 691,000 when he probably would have done half of that if it wasn't for this whole shuck.
Yeah, even beyond the music being better, the 50 way was over. Like when this was Kanye Graduation, wait till I get my money right, like flashing lights, like nigga. I remember coming into this album like Kanye was that nigga.
Yeah,
like 50, I think he mentioned in his book, and I was going to ask you, but you kind of briefed over it when you were just talking. I think this was 50's idea because he knew he needed to latch on to like something to get that final little jolt on his way out the door. And this was a good idea. Like he said, he tried to put controversy around it with the retirement. But as far as it being a head up thing, I think it was dope, and that was unique in a way because they were such different artists. That was dope. I wish that we could have gotten it more where it wasn't really a beef. Unfortunately, and I'll touch on this later, as far as some marketing campaigns. But unfortunately, it wasn't. I mean, fortunately, it wasn't like a violent beef.
Right?
It's on wax. This is strictly us playing as acts, and that's cool that they were able to do that in hip-hop, because you don't get to do that a lot in hip-hop. Have a friendly competition. If it's competition, it's usually not friendly, where we enjoy it in hip-hop.
No, that was a super dope moment, though. I remember them facing off on 106. That was cool, man. That was a big day for hip-hop. Too bad that Curtis didn't live up to expectations. I don't even think I bought that album that day.
You have a favorite song off that Curtis?
Off Curtis?
Yeah.
Hell no. That album was some slaw, bro. Like it had one song that was okay. I mean, first of all, let me not cheat.
It had a song with Akon.
The song with Akon, "I Still Kill," was cool. But the singles were trash. That song with Justin Timberlake was ass.
Technology disc, ain't it?
That shit was some slaw.
That was a nasty 50 Cent era right there. Where he was holding on by a thread, nigga. He would not let go.
That shit was
coming out with AO technology and shit.
Now he did have. Now I will say that "I Get Money" was fire. That "Straight to the Bank" was fire.
That was a Hail Mary.
And he had a song called "Fully Loaded Clip." That motherfucker was banging.
What made the "I Get Money" pop off? It was a vitamin water deal.
Yeah.
What was it like? Didn't that deal come through around that time? He came with "I Get Money."
That shit was hard. That song was hard.
He killed it with that. And then he had Jay and Puff on the remix. Puff murdered the remix. But as far as that campaign overall, I think 50 in that book that we talked about on here was one of our put-ons, as far as he just talked about attaching himself to Kanye West doing that and just making that whole thing marketing. I think that was genius. And as far as where you're rating Rollouts. What was the next one?
That's a fact. What you got for the next one?
For the next one, man, the late, great, the marathon continues. My guy, your guy, Nipsey Hussle. The $100 CD, the pay to play. This was at a time when you could get all your mixtapes for free. Right? But it was right before streaming, and everybody was really on streaming, but you could still go to that Piff Live mixtapes, and you can get whatever you pretty much wanted that was hot for free. And Nipsey made the decision to drop the $100 mixtape. The same $100 mixtape, you can get it on these free sites too. You can order it on my site. There's a free version, but I'm gonna send you merch, and you are making a proclamation for the independence of people like me and people, or the investment per se into the music game, into my brand. And
Yep.
I think why this worked for Nipsey, one, he had the balls to do it when no one else was. He got the idea out of a book that he was reading. And two, when you did it, it wasn't hollow in the sense of, okay, he got this $100 CD. What else is there? You hear about this headline, you go look at, then you go look at YouTube. I'm like, who is this nigga charging $100 for a CD? Dope interviews on YouTube, merch out there. You start doing a little research, stories start to drop around the same time, thanks to his team, his marketing campaign. At the same time, the $100 CD come about of like building this whole brand and persona, the marathon of what Nipsey Hussle was. So when it came to that $100 disc, the people that were making that investment were very aware of what they were spending their $100 on. And it wasn't just the CD, it was everything that that man stood for. And I think that that's what made the campaign so powerful and what made it stick. Like I said, it wasn't an original idea. To hip hop, it was, but
Right.
it wasn't an original idea in the sense of marketing. But the reason that it stuck and that people bought into it so much was because of everything that came with that $100 and the precision I think that Nipsey Hussle put into that brand of the marathon.
Yeah, and more importantly, the product was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That mixtape is complete flames. It's a
Fire.
classic.
Last but not least, the music was banging.
Man, on top of all of that, the Crenshaw album did not disappoint. And first of all, the concept was genius. And I'm gonna come clean. If I was on his team and he thought to do this, I'd have been like, "No, don't do that," because I wouldn't have gotten the vision. I thought it was genius that he capped it at a certain number. He said the first 1,000 CDs will be $100 hard copy. You can get incentives like merch and also tickets to his next show. So a lot of people that copped were local in the area. He sold out. It was complete genius. It made news. It got picked up by outlets that may have normally not picked up a Nipsey Hussle project. It created waves. Jay-Z infamously bought 100 copies from Rock Nation on behalf of Rock Nation, bro. And a matter of fact, I was such a big fan of this move. I didn't buy the CD, but I bought the book that he got this idea from. He name dropped the book. It was called Contagion: Why Things Stick. And I bought that, or Contagious, excuse me, Why Things Stick. And in the book, the cheesesteak guy was selling them for $100 when everything else on the menu was regular. And he talked about how that became popular and how the word spread, and that he figured he could duplicate that and do the same thing with an album. And he absolutely could, and it worked to a charm. He tried it again with his follow-up project, Mailbox Money. He did $1,000 mixtape and sold 100 of them. And so, like, hey, bro, like, it was genius, and that'll be one of my favorite notable rollouts of all time. Again, another reason why Nipsey's a legend.
Facts. Facts. The marathon continues. Um I don't think that that could be done again, especially since we're in streaming and you're so far away from a physical copy and what you would even do or go get it from for the $100 price tag. So maybe Griselda could pull it off with some fly merch that come with it or some high price stuff like that. But I don't know if we see that happen again. So I think that was a dope strategy.
You could do it, just not with music. It'd be easier to do it with something else, something more limited, something like a merch piece or something. You could do it with that, or people actually slick do that now with the prices people charge for their merch. But that's a whole nother story.
Facts. What's another one?
Another one. I'm gonna say this, and you're gonna know exactly what it is. Hit my line 281-330-8004. Hit Mike Jones up on the low.
Ooh.
Mike Jones about to blow. Nigga, you want to talk about a marketing campaign? Nigga,
That's a
that
good
shit
one right
was
there.
brilliant.
That's a good one.
I'm putting my phone number out here. Y'all hit me up. And Mike Jones used to say that was his real number. We know that's cap. But it was still a genius. It was genius marketing.
Did anybody ever did he ever talk to anybody on that line? Do you know?
Man, I ain't no telling. I ain't never called the shit. But it ain't I doubt it, though. He said people used to call that number 25,000 times a day. That's what he said.
I believe it. I definitely believe that.
That
Especially in that time period, man. It wasn't no IG live. There wasn't no Twitter and nothing. Like you really couldn't interact with people. Him dropping his phone number was like a big deal. You knew the number before you knew who that nigga was. Yeah, I know in
And
Nashville where we were from, because like Mike Jones really wasn't no big deal. It was
he
all
had the hot
right as
song.
far
He
as a
had a hot
mixtape.
record.
He had, but he was bubbling from that on a mixtape though. That was
Yeah,
way before the hot record though.
that's a fact.
So
Yeah,
like I remember when we started hearing about him, it was off that shit right there, the phone number.
yeah, that shit was genius though. He had it
It
on
was a
his
good rollout.
T-shirt.
That
It
was
was
a fact.
again. It's not the fact that he's banking on everybody in the world to call him. He's banking on, it's the same thing with Nipsey. He's not banking on everybody in the world to pay $100 for a free CD. They're banking on this becoming news and somebody
You
telling
talking about it.
somebody else about it.
Exactly.
That's what they're banking on, getting those impressions. They know you're not going to bat 1,000 with people buying into it, but you're going to talk about it and it's going to cause waves. And when people talk, it gets in front of more eyes, increasing the chances of your product being sold or bought, I should say. So that's the
Yes.
purpose of it. And it was genius. Mike Jones killed it. He tried to reinvent it and do it again in like 2012, 2013. Nah, not lightning, not gonna strike
Nope.
twice though.
It's a wrap for that, buddy.
Yeah.
I think nowadays, do artists they get on IG Live with their fans, right? Is that a thing?
Yeah, and people still do the phone number thing because Ryan, I was listening to a podcast and Ryan Leslie came up with a technology to where you can put your phone number out there, and it's a good way to capture email and contact information. So now I have a contact list directly of my fans. So when I put something out, I can send it straight to their phone. So the number thing is still a thing. Gary Vee does it too. A lot of people do that. A lot of celebrities say, "Call me." I think Justin Bieber did it on one of his albums lately. It's call my phone, and you call it, and it's
That's
a
funny.
answering message of him talking, and
And they just leave their
text me if
email
you
and
want to
shit.
be up on when I drop this. And so it's still done. It's just he the OG. Mike Jones the OG of that shit though.
Who? Who?
Hit Mike Jones up on the low, nigga, because Mike Jones about to blow.
All right. And the last, well, not the last one, but Jeezy, your man, the Snowman. We talked about him earlier. CNN ran the story. It was a big deal to have the banned Snowman shirt. Kids couldn't wear them in certain states and schools, and even on top of that, it was the lure of Jeezy. Like what we were talking about. Like there's no lure with that talk show. Like it's really not like it's kind of confusing. But when Jeezy first came out, if you can remember, there was this like he said it himself, like he didn't even let people know that he was rapping at first. He'd drop something, go to the clubs and see how people reacted to it, and they'd even realize that it was him. And all of that stuff adds into the t-shirt as to people were like, well, what does it stand for? Oh, it's just a snowman. Oh, it means cocaine. Like
Mm-hmm.
to the point that it was actually a story on CNN.
Yep.
And Jeezy, being the smart businessman that he is, he rolled with it. Like, okay, shit, as if this is such a big deal in mainstream America, I'm gonna make the trap love it. And the snowman shirts were everywhere. That was
Yep.
probably one of the more legendary rollouts that we've had in hip hop history. What say you?
Yeah, it is. It's up there. And that, first of all, I don't want people to get confused with these dope ass rollouts that we're talking about and that we're comparing them to Tory Lanez and thinking that his
No,
rollout
no,
was
no. This
dope.
just
Let me
made
be
us think
very
of dope
clear.
of rollouts.
Yeah, we're talking notable, memorable rollouts. And to be fair, he's the first nigga ever that I can think of to drop a diss album in response to a controversy, which makes it notable. So let's be clear about that. Now, forward back to this Jeezy 2005, the shirt was brilliant. The shirt, he doubled down with the shirt, the chain. He had the shirt in all the videos. He had all his people with the shirt on. Like that's what you do when you have a hot product. You double down on it and triple down on it. Everybody in the camp need to have that on when we roll out. Give me the chain with the same graphic on it. Let me get that. So when I don't have the shirt on, I'm gonna remind you of the shirt because I got the piece around my neck. Like you keep doing that and pushing it in people's face. And the best thing that ever happened to that shirt was getting banned. Because like you
Facts.
said, it just got him more coverage, and coverage gets you in front of more eyes, and now more people want the shirt, making it a hot commodity. The,
Absolutely.
the only issue with that is now it gets bootlegged. And now and that shirt wasn't too complicated of a shirt to recreate.
But
So
that ain't even hurting Jeezy though. That actually helped him. Like some of the other, like
eh,
you saying the shit, bootleg my shit, and that's now I'm even bigger. Now I'm in even more places
Well,
because you
that's
gotta
true.
think he ain't actually getting money off that T-shirt. More
No,
niggas
no, whoa,
bootleg
whoa,
this
whoa,
shit than
whoa, whoa, whoa,
he
no.
was. He got money off that T-shirt.
Merch, the overhead on merch is so high.
Oh,
That's why so many people do it.
I mean him specifically in that shirt. I don't think that he capitalized off it. It's been
Oh, okay.
he put that out there. I wasn't speaking of like not
Yeah,
getting money off merch, but I think he put that out there that he wished that he had jumped on it in time enough to eat off of it like he know
true.
he could have.
It was ahead of his
Um,
time.
yeah, it was way before his time. But yeah, I agree with that. And one of the go ahead. What else were you about to say about this?
No, I was just gonna say I like that. Again, if he could go back, he probably would have capitalized off it a little better. But I think it was most definitely memorable. And when you think snowman, and I know he tried to clean it up and say, you could be the snowman selling socks. Okay, okay, okay. He could
Sure you
barely say
can,
that with a straight
snow
face.
man. Sure
Yeah,
you can, snow.
yeah. He tried, but that's what happens when you. And this is something to think about if you are an artist listening, and you're coming out with a product or a label or a brand that is illegal or controversial in that manner. Your ceiling can only get but so high. Like you can only do so much with drug related snowman t-shirts, bro. Like they're not going to be in Walmart. They're not going to be in Macy's. Like you just can't do that.
So you
And
see,
so it
you foresee a name change for Griselda?
possibly, you never know. Like you can only do but so much. And if that's all you're trying to do, then cool. That's
It ain't even
perfectly
with just
fine.
drugs. Like groups like Slaughterhouse. There's not a lot you can do with names
Yeah,
like that.
it's
So yeah,
on
you
you.
got to be careful when you are naming yourself.
That's all I'm saying. Look at Gotti, Cocaine Music Group. Bro, how far can you get with
CMG.
Cocaine Music Group,
It's
bro? That's why he
CMG.
had to
He cut
change
that
it.
real quick.
Yeah,
Jeezy was Corporate Thugs Entertainment. CTE. He had to cut
yeah,
that
but he
down.
went by CTE though. He never said the full thing though.
Yeah.
So that's why you hear Gotti, he say CMG, even though he changed it. It's not even Cocaine Music Group no more. It's like I forgot what it is
CMG. It's
now, but he had to
CMG.
change it, bro. Like
Yeah.
Jay-Z in the meeting with him at Rock Nation, like, bro, you can't do nothing with that shit. And so you just have to think about that. It's cool to get to be tapped in with the streets and stuff. That's cool. But think of something that can be scaled past the street shit though. That's all.
I think one of the things that one of the rollouts in hip hop that always, and we didn't write it down on here, but we left it off and it's always prevalent is beef. Like
Yeah.
beef is a consummate rollout or a part of probably every major rapper's career. Like you can't name a rapper and be like, well, who did they have beef with? And come up with somebody that has no one. Like I think almost all artists, whether purposely or not purposely, Pac had that famous quote that you used to talk about when he told Big he was just doing it to sell records.
Yeah.
That's some of the conspiracy theories out there about that. Pastor Troy, when he went after Master P,
Yep. Had never met him.
never met him, didn't know who he was.
Yep.
Jay versus Nas, you could argue that Jay became as big as he was when he beefed with Nas. When he had the Nas beef, when Blueprint around that whole era catapulted him to being Hove.
Yeah.
Recently, as far as Meek Mill and Drake.
Yep.
So beef is probably one of the bigger rollout methods that hip hop has used throughout the years since its inception in the 80s. What do you think?
I'm glad that that's over because that ever since 50 Cent milked it, it's been played out. I'm gonna come clean. 50 Cent milked that for his last like 4 or 5 projects. It was like, bro, like you don't even know these niggas. Like beef, that shit is only entertaining when it's real, when it's like these motherfuckers do not like each other. Like that's when it's entertaining. I'm gonna come clean. When it's fake or staged, like Takashi, bro, then nobody want to hear that shit, bro. Like it's
People still
lame.
use it though. People still, like you said, as recently as Takashi. Like you would have never thought if you explained to some niggas that grew up listening to and seeing hip hop in the era that we did, that an act like Takashi would work. Like
True.
a nigga would explain that to you in 95, 96 or whatever, and you would have been like, nah, absolutely not.
That's true.
There's no way that niggas is gonna fall for that. There's no way that he's gonna make it through that. There's no there would have been absolutely no way.
That's true. But that comes from, like you said, that comes from just bringing attention to yourself, being the loudest, being a train wreck, and people watching to watch the train wreck. So, yeah. Did you have any more examples?
No, I think Beef was the last one. Did you have another one?
Nah, that was it for me. I think that's a good list of some of the most notable release strategies, man. Y'all let us know, what did we leave out? What is a marketing campaign for an album release that's memorable to you?
Oh, the
Let us
blank,
know.
the out of nowhere joint the Beyonce made. The
Ooh, that's the
Beyonce record.
Beyonce.
Yeah.
The Beyonce drop. J. Cole did it.
Yeah.
The out of nowhere. I'm surprised more people don't do the out of nowhere. Well, you got to be at a certain level.
Yeah, you gotta really like, especially if there's a lot of money invested into that album.
That's true.
Ain't nobody really gonna gamble on. There you go. If you know Beyonce.
To be fair though, when you drop in the middle of the night, you saving on marketing because people sharing your shit gonna market it anyway. They're gonna do the marketing for you. That's how you gotta look at it.
They gotta be waiting on you though.
Well,
like, I can't be. I don't want to diss nobody right here, but
you can be Drake.
I could be Drake, absolutely, and just drop out of nowhere. I could be Kendrick. I could be J. Cole, but I think the buck probably stops right there. Maybe Big Sean.
You can be Kanye.
You could be Kanye. That's true.
That's it though. It's quiet.
Big Sean.
Stop.
Can't be Big Sean and drop in the middle of the night. You still
my boy, but stop. No.
What if Lil Wayne dropped some new music in the middle of the night?
In 2020 or
tonight?
Or 2008?
Yeah, no, tonight. Like, what if it was Future?
No, man.
Future can't do it.
No, nobody. He not moving the needle like them niggas you named. Hell no.
If Future dropped tonight, it would go crazy.
Bruh, he's dropped 3 times this year, man. Nobody cares. Like, okay, you gotta pay child support, nigga. Like, come on,
that's funny.
Let's get to these wins and losses, man. Let's give out some W's to Chance the Rapper. Got a W. Said he made $6 million off of his 3 hat this year. That's 6 million W's right there.
I would have never told nobody how much I made off them hats.
I ain't
up to 45, and you don't think that he made that,
bro? Let me put it this way: if he made $6 million off them hats, how much is Jay making off them paper plane hats? Because them motherfuckers is everywhere, nigga. And I've never seen a 3 hat in person.
I've never seen one of those 3 hats.
Now, I've never seen a nigga wearing a 3 hat in a picture.
Other than Chance.
Other than
Chance, the only nigga that I've ever seen with that hat on.
He bought them all himself. He bought all of them himself.
Nigga sent all of, you know how they send the shirts over there to the kids that need them when the championship team don't win. That nigga sent all them hats off.
That nigga sent them overseas,
like,
bro.
man, I ain't seen enough nigga in them hats, man. I ain't biting.
Not once.
And I fuck with Chance too, but I ain't biting.
I don't. We got another W to TDE's Top Dog. Brand new investment with REKT Global. They are the self-proclaimed worldwide leader in esports. All right, good look for TDE.
Absolutely, man. It's gonna be a big move. I think Top Dog keeping the brand moving strong into the new millennia. I think that esports is supposed to be big, taking off, right?
Esports is already big, and it's got room to grow.
I like this. It's a nice move.
They also signed a new artist.
Who do we got?
Janky YLSTE.
See, that's what you were just talking about with the names.
Yeah, that's
like I wouldn't even, like, if you told me there was a new TDE artist and it was a simple name, when we got done doing this, I would probably look him up while I was going to play Madden or some shit like that. I'm going to forget that and forget that you mentioned it by the time that we're done recording this. Janky YTDLE. Like, come on, bro. Maybe is it some Cali shit?
Yeah.
He from Cali?
I think so. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. I can't Google that name. I can't remember. It's too hard.
I hope it ain't no gang banging shit, man. Have you seen the nigga, for a brief tangent, have you seen the nigga doing the hat series?
Yes.
You need. I was gonna say you need to watch it. It's good as fuck. If y'all ain't
that shit's good.
Look up the nigga doing the LA, the hats in LA and what you can and can't wear. That shit good.
That shit is good. That's funny. We have an L handed out to Kamala Harris for saying she was asked who's the best rapper alive, and her response was Tupac. In case you guys didn't know this,
do you think that she knows that Tupac is dead?
Yeah, because she cleared it up afterwards. She was like, yeah, but Tupac's dead. She was like, oh, he sure is. I mean, he was my favorite.
Gosh darn it.
Because she's in the LA area.
Dead.
Oops. That's right. You said alive. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Tupac. I get it mixed up with that other guy.
That's an
All you
L,
black people
ladies and
look
gentlemen.
alike.
that
That's
that's an
funny.
L, and that's your vice president, by the way.
Hopefully.
We have a bonus L to hip hop super agent Brent Smith getting suspended and likely fired on his day off.
Not on this day off.
He is the agent to Drake and Kendrick Lamar, who knew they had the same agent.
That's
Reason for
wild.
concern if you're either one of them.
Yeah, man, they got to be dismissed from the biggest agency, the William Morris agency, for the conduct detrimental to the team. As far as
Basically,
in there shaking it, like, yeah, I would be slick concerned. I would be even more concerned sharing the same agent with Drake or Kendrick if I were either one or the other. I don't know if
why?
that's
Conflict of interest?
that ain't a conflict of interest.
No.
Like, am I?
They're not getting the same deals. They're not getting the same deals.
Aren't they?
No.
Can't they? I would say.
Should they
Like,
both got Nike
if
deals.
Drake gets a deal, like, what stops Kendrick from getting on the phone and being like, "Why didn't I get that?"
They both got Nike deals, to be fair.
That's fair.
So I mean, maybe
I think that's an interesting relationship that could be explored more. But a big L to him for fucking up the bag. I don't know what happened over there, who he beat up. But apparently he was there with the old regime and they were under new management. So he probably feel like kind of slighted, probably throwing his nuts around and shaking it. But the interesting aspect of it, he got Tyler, he got a lot of big name artists. I think John Legend, beast.
He might be the reason Kendrick ain't dropped then. That's probably why they fired his ass. Hey man, get Kendrick to drop a goddamn album. I can't, bro.
Hey,
he's scared.
T-minus, that's what they countdown. They got a countdown clock in New York for Kendrick album. They're acting like it's the end of the world clock, but it's Kendrick's
Stop.
album.
Ain't no way. Hey man, on deck of the week, real quick. We're going to Facebook. Shout out to the homie Bambino Pesci. He posted the following. Y'all should schedule a Zoom to discuss and solve a few things. Megan and Tory. Is Kanye fake crazy? Is Stevie Wonder really blind? And did Jay really have 92 bricks? This is a fantastic suggestion. We have not done a Realville group mashup in entirely too long.
Easy to do with the Zoom now, too.
We got the Zoom now. These are great topics. We will be discussing all of these on the mashup coming very soon. Thank you, Bambino.
We're definitely going to address those questions. We appreciate it, man. We appreciate you guys joining us as well at the OndeckTV podcast. Don't forget to go to the Patreon page and check out the new drops over there, man. We got some new stuff for y'all.
Yeah, man. What you got to put me on, too?
What do I have to put you on? There's a brand new album by your girl from Griselda, Armani Caesar, I think.
Yes.
Armani Caesar, right? Yeah. Her brand new album, man, she dropped not this week, but last week. It's interesting to hear a female over the Griselda style. It's okay. I like it, but definitely would suggest you checking it out and seeing how you feel about the female rapping over the Alchemist slow down dope beat. So that's an interesting listen. What do you got to put us on?
Yeah, mine is music as well. Don't let Tory Lanez distract y'all from the fact that Payroll dropped the album this weekend. Payroll Giovanni, Detroit's own. Spirit of a Boss is the name of it. Fire. Payroll is probably one of the most consistent artists in the game, low key. Every time he drops, it's quality. This is no exception. I ain't even get to finish it all, but I'm excited and I look forward to listening to it, man. I'm a big fan of Payrolls. Wish he was on a bigger platform, but I get it. Everybody can't be ultra famous and everybody don't need to be, man. He dope.
Yeah, I fuck with Payroll. We definitely fuck with Payroll. This album is dope. Highly recommended. Maybe we can do something with it on Patreon or something like that. But yeah, great recommendation. Great put on.
Absolutely, man. Hey, again, until the next time, patreon.com/Realville. As you mentioned, we are having a major overhaul coming to the platform very soon. In the meantime, please enjoy that Outcast review, Aquemini. It's him and I, Aquemini. Make sure y'all check that out. And the Big Timers review. We dropped that about a week ago on there.
Fire. How you love that, man?
That's the Down South classic, guys. Y'all check it out. And youtube.com/Realville, man. Road to 1,000 subscribers. We'll be doing giveaways and all kind of shit. Appreciate everybody for supporting the real, man. realvillemedia.com.
And we out.